gentlemen, you tuned in to Sideline Talk. I'm the humble beast, Coach Herb, in the building.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Coach Tay in the building. Fresh off draft weekend, baby. We out here.
Man.
What up, y'all? Alan Shea in the place to be.
Draft weekend. What a weekend it was. Wow.
Yes.
Excellent weekend.
Excellent
you guys
job,
who watch the show frequently, y'all know the big thing about the draft is value. We preach value every chance we get when it comes to the draft. And it just so happens the team that's represented on my shirt and behind me did a hell of a job in getting value, maximizing value. I didn't even say getting value. They maximized. Like, it's so much value. It's like it's stealing at this point.
Basically.
Like, just even in a trade, how even in the trade you get robbery type value.
Right.
And I say that because in 2019, Hollywood Brown was a 25th pick in the draft. You have him on the roster for 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
He says he comes to you, say, I'm not feeling it. The system just don't work best for me. I want out. So you flip the 25th pick from the 2019 draft to essentially the 25th pick and a third-round pick in this draft.
Fourth round.
Fourth round, yeah. That's insane. Insane value, man.
That's like buying.
That's GM
That's like buying a
101
Miata.
right.
That's like buying a Miata. I ain't gonna call him a bench. It's like buying a Miata for 3 years for $20,000, and they take it into a used dealer's lot. Really, $20,000 for it.
Right.
Like, you don't get that type of value.
Right. It's crazy, yo.
You know, it's unfortunate that we couldn't make it work with Hollywood Brown, but he's going to a situation that's,
works best for him.
Well,
Godspeed.
I guess we would have to define making it work. I mean, how many targets he had, Herb?
This year, 146.
So you got 146 targets, you got over 1,000 yards, and you can play. All right, let's let that register for a second. You had that with Lamar being out for 6 weeks.
But not only even just that, with also a banged up offensive line where a lot of it you have to tweak your routes because you ain't got time for a bunch of deep shots.
Right.
Well, a banged up offensive line, quarterback out for 6 weeks, 5 weeks, however many weeks that was.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And your first round draft pick being out for 6 weeks as well.
Yeah.
First round wide receiver that could have possibly taken targets away from you early. And you got 146 targets. Now, unfortunately for Arizona, you probably get into it later. DeAndre Hopkins is suspended for the first 6 weeks. So, unfortunately for Arizona, but fortunately for Hollywood, you get to prove yourself early.
Yeah. And I go ahead, T.
I bring that up to say, I mean, what more do you want? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like they not trying to get you the ball. It's just, I think he just doesn't want to block. Like, that's me personally. Like,
I think it's a conservative offensive approach that we've all been talking about. Yeah. I call it playing in the phone booth. You got dogs on the outside that like to run. You playing in the phone booth. I mean, it works for your offensive coordinator and your offense, but yet still personally, it doesn't work for him. I get that. He's not the first person to ask out of a Greg Roman system. I mean, 4 players have asked out in the last 3 years.
Yeah, and we obviously highlighting Giro because it's the Ravens, but this system is exactly, well, not exactly to a science, but the framework of it. Tight ends, middle of the field, possession receivers who create yak. That's the Patriot way. That's how Brady got 6 rings. When you outside in a year that, outside of the Marsh year when they didn't win, when you really think about it, that's how they got the rings. So and so for a 5'9" receiver who in college was in the air raid system to go to that, it makes sense. It don't work. But yeah, and be mindful. One of the years, I think it was 2020, matter of fact. No, I think it was 19. The 14-2 year. We still played in that phone booth system, but we did take more shots. It's just not as much shots as people like. He's not a possession receiver. Like I mentioned it before. Like he's not he's not gonna route you up, make you miss on an 8-yard hitch and pick up, 7 to 10 more yards. Nah, He gonna stretch the field. That's what he does. So Arizona definitely works best for him. To transition to stay in Arizona, like you mentioned, D-Hop is out the first 6 games because of a PED violation. When you look at their roster, you can't replace D-Hop at all, but you still have Hollywood, you got Rondale, you got AJ, Antoine Wesley. Who else is out there? I'm trying to think. Can't remember if they
Zach
grabbed
Ertz
Zach
and
Ertz.
Trey McBride for the tight ends.
Zach and Trey, yeah. Zach and Trey. So they're more than formidable to hold it down, until D-Hop gets back. Especially with the NFC as a whole taking a back seat. It's just a matter of, how it plays out. What up, John? No. I don't think he can hear. Y'all can hear me?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, all right. He looked confused as a whole. He like angry man. Situation.
I heard that shit.
What up with you?
What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
What's up, man? We were just discussing a little bit about D-Hop situation. We mentioned Hollywood before that and how he requested when the system ain't work, and then we transitioned to the Cardinals.
I mean, the Cardinals last year, to pick up on what you were saying about D-Hop. The Cardinals started off the year last year, was the last team that was undefeated. They were the last team to take an L in their record. That twisted kind of once D-Hop started missing time. D-Hop, like they were winning when Kyler had his injury. Whoever I forgot who the backup quarterback was, came in there and was winning games. It stopped when D-Hop left and Kyler came back. So, I mean, I don't think everything is. I mean, I don't think one thing would be everything as far as that's like the end of their season. But it's going to be, it's an adjustment period for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, the jury is still out on Cliff for me, as far as if he can really, really coach when it counts. So he could get another chance to prove it to me.
And you look at the draft, they added Trey McBride, couple edge rushers, Cameron Thomas and Myjai Sanders. Then you factor in who was it? Got some guard help in Hayes and Marquise Hayes from Oklahoma and Lasitis Smith from VT. They had a solid draft.
And all but one of those names that you just mentioned we all had on our boards as players that of interest. Like if we had a big board, they would be on our big board. Not really familiar with Hayes, but Lecitus Smith out of BT, I was familiar with. Of course, Trey McBride. Of course, both Myjai Sanders and Cam Thomas we talked about extensively. And I guess you got to back in the Marquise Brown with the first pick or whatever. So
yeah.
But so I think they improved. Whether or not, I don't think Lecitus is ready to play day one. I don't know if Hayes is ready to play day one, but that was like one of their big issues, if I'm not mistaken, was the offensive line. So
Absolutely.
to not address that right away and bring in a plug and play player, I'm not really recalling what they did in free agency, but if they didn't address it in free agency and didn't address it here, it's like, I don't know what the thought process is of it.
If I'm not mistaken, they didn't. Let me pull up now. Because offensive line was definitely like, I think they needed offensive line depth as well as get a little stronger in the trenches. Like you had Beecham at right tackle. Calvin Beecham is okay, I guess. But yeah.
Generous,
Say it again.
That's generous. Oh,
right.
They signed
it is generous. But Will Hernandez, right? That's what it was. They did sign Will Hernandez to play on a 1 year prove it type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be coming in to compete with Josh Jones and Justin Murray to start as at guard. Outside of that, they didn't address the position. Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
So let's get into a shop it to stop it. We can do it a little different. We obviously shops the Ravens draft. Which other team draft hall do you shop? Or stop for that matter?
Stopping the Patriots.
You say what?
I'm stopping the Patriots.
I thought you was going to elaborate, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to.
Yeah.
Oh,
You need to elaborate.
All right. Elaboration. Okay. I'm stopping the Patriots because Cole Strange, last name fits that pick in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple of players that they got in the second round that you probably could have got in the third or the fourth. Now, I'm not one of those people that like to exclude or quick to harry old people. But that might not be the person that you want running your board. Now, in fact, let me take that back. I'm gonna put some respect on Belichick's name. He is Aaron Jones. Not Aaron Jones. Aaron Judge. He's Aaron Judge. He gonna hit you a couple home runs or he gonna strike out. Ain't no in between. Ain't no getting on base. I'm either going yard or I'm striking out. Setting my ass down.
Belichick?
So, Belichick.
Really?
I mean, he hit home runs with Brady, with Seymour, with Edelman, with Gronk.
Hernandez.
Home runs. Hernandez, N'Keal Harry. He drafted 2 tight ends, and in the very offseason,
I mean, it's so many more home runs you can say for Belichick.
He drafted 2 tight ends and then signed 2 immediately after drafting them. I mean, come on. Jury's still out on Mac, to me. Mac and cheese. I'm not impressed. Not at all. But even if I was impressed, he took a quarterback in the 4th round this year.
Need a backup?
You had Steady that you just drafted in the 4th round a couple years ago. Like, come on.
Maybe
Like,
Do you
Yeah,
feel
maybe,
comfortable with him as your backup?
maybe he ain't like what he
I
see.
don't feel comfortable with how was his name?
We ain't talking about Mac Jones. We talking
Zappy.
about Steady. We talking
Bailey
about
Zapp,
backup.
Bailey Zapp is an accurate quarterback.
So it's Steady. If we talking accuracy,
He,
shit, Kyle Bowler was accurate. Nigga was throwing 85-yard passes from his knees at one point.
he's
For us.
stupid.
But yeah, Tyquan Thornton, I think you could have got that in the third round. You got that early second, well, mid second.
Mm-hmm.
Pierre Strong, I like as a running back, but I'm not going to take a fourth round flyer, maybe a fifth or sixth. And then you drafted a 6th round running back, Kevin Harris. I'm just completely out on this draft. All right.
I guess from
Go ahead.
you, T.
No, go ahead.
I guess from a value standpoint, it was confusing to take Strange in the first round and then Thornton in the second round. You lose value. The other strange thing about this was even bringing in Pierre Strong when you got
2 great running
you got
backs.
Harris, you got Stevenson, already on the roster, and it's a third back. It's escaped me right now. So that's kind of a little strange. But I like the players. I like Cole Strange. I think he's really good. Tyquan Thornton is a slept-on deep threat who could be more. But like I said, the value was lost. Marcus Jones, I think we've all mentioned, is a versatile weapon. Whether he line up at the slot, whether you put him at a returner. And Jack Jones, who we didn't mention, but I like Jack Jones a lot out of Arizona State. Physical corner. I mean, they got some good
I
players.
mean, it's a fine line between genius and insanity, and he liked to tap dance on it.
Yeah, I mean, it was some head scratching. Like you could have waited for that player, but like
Again,
it wasn't worse. I
I
think
give it a C minus.
Kuiper gave it a C plus. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a D or an F. I don't know what these players could become. I could be talking on the side of my neck right now. Who knows?
I think that the people who had one of the most impressive drafts, I gotta say New York Jets. You get the best cornerback in Ahmad Gardner. You get arguably the best wide receiver in Garrett Wilson, and you get one of the top edge rushers at 26 in Jermaine Johnson, who everybody was excited about. You get arguably the best running back in Breece Hall in the second round. You get a really good blocking and receiving tight end in Jeremy Ruckert out of Ohio State in the third round. Serviceable Max Mitchell, offensive tackle out of Louisiana, Lafayette. And with your fourth round and the second fourth round pick is Michael Clemens out of Texas A&M. You can't really beat that, in my opinion. That's a good draft. Now,
you can beat it with another team, but it was
you can beat it, but I mean, if you're gonna have seven picks,
that's a hell of a 7.
7 picks to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought the Browns did a good job as well. They had no first or second round picks. They got a pretty good corner in Martin Emerson. They got I guess the best available for them edge rusher in Alex Wright. They got pretty good receiver in David Bell. If you watch David Bell film, he's tough possession receiver. They got the guy we all wanted. So for interior pass rushing, that's Perion Winfrey. With a fourth round pick. They got my guy, defensive lineman with a 7th round pick, Isaiah Thomas, versatile, multiple technique defensive lineman, late. And they got Cincinnati's running back from a top 4 college team. So that's pretty good to not have any picks. I do question some of the Patriots picks. I don't question the picks. You know me. We always talk, like you said at the beginning of the show, we always talk about value. And I felt like they lost a lot of value. I do like the players, like you said, some players that they got, but you lose value picking them when you pick them.
Mhm.
In my
Yeah, especially with so many trades that went down this whole draft. You'd have thought they would trade back, get more picks, and, and still get your guy and somebody else. It's funny that y'all mentioned the Jets because it's not surprising to me that the Jets did well in the draft because of who the GM is and where he came from. Right there.
Eric Jr.
That bird right there.
Yep.
He's an Ozzie disciple. So,
Right.
like, Joe Douglas did a hell of a job, man.
I think back-to-back drafts, the Jets have really hit home runs. I mean, the jury's still out on Zach Wilson, but if that's your worst pick in 8 picks, in 2 years, you can't fault you for trying to get, the second best quarterback in the draft.
And even with that
Because
quarterback,
Trevor was gone.
right? And even with that quarterback, you gotta give him time.
Right.
Gotta give him time.
But you got. I'm interested to see how they use Breece Hall and Michael Carter.
We need 2 backs.
I know, but which one is going to be your lead? Like that's to me is a different approach because Breece to me is more of a speed guy, whereas Carter's your power. You kind of have them playing back before, but which one are you leading with? I would tend to think as a defensive head coach, you would want to lead with your power, but he could just switch everything up. Because that power back is going to tire down the other defense. And then once he tires him down, that speed, is just going to go away from him.
And I also wanted to honorable mention the Houston Texans. I mean, I'm just going to list them. Derek Stingley, you got Kenyon Green. Both guys were extremely high on. Jalen Petrie, who we also was, but didn't see a need for our team specifically. You got John Mechie as well. You got Christian Harris. You got Damian Pierce, running back out of Florida. You got Thomas Booker, who we all like, but then you got your tight end real late, and you got an offensive tackle real late. That's a hell of a draft. Like, even if they didn't draft the last 2 players, their top 7 players is all guys we were high on, and all guys that's, in my opinion, gonna come in and probably start for them right away. Like, I don't know who their running backs are, but who's going to start over Damian Pierce right now? In my opinion, nobody. Christian Harris is going to start. John Mechie going to start. Jalen Petrie going to start. Kenyon Green going to start. Derek Stingley going to start. Thomas Booker possibly going to start. Like, they're all going to start right away. So, like, to go in there and get 7 starters, I'm not sure what they have at tight end, but to go get 7 starters, in my opinion, put your team in a good position. So
they have I don't even want to tell you who they got at running back. You gonna laugh at. But they got David Johnson.
They still got David Johnson.
Apparently.
Right. Marlon Mack, David Johnson. That's the combination right there.
We'll see if David Johnson's still there by the time the season comes.
That's a good point. As far as tight end,
highlight one, I'm sorry, I mean to jump in, but to highlight, since I said the one that I didn't like, to highlight one, and I hate to do it because they are an unofficial, used to be AFC Central rival. I think Tennessee had a hell of a draft. Besides losing AJ Brown and getting an AJ Brown clone that you hope could become AJ Brown, they got Traylon Burke, they got Roger McCreary, they got Nicholas Petit-Frere, they got Malik Willis that's going to be the starter eventually, pushing Tannehill or getting rid of Tannehill. Chigoziem Okonkwo at tight end, Kyle Phillips at receiver. Like
Hassan Haskins at running back.
Yeah, Hassan Haskins. I'm sorry, I skipped that one. Hassan Haskins at running back out of Michigan. I think they had a hell of a draft as well.
Yeah, that's a hell of a draft too.
Yeah. What you got in mind, John?
Well, first, I'm not as critical on the Patriots draft like everybody else. Yeah, it was random as fuck, but you got to realize they did a lot of free agency pickups. So they feel like they have the team there that they could compete to get to the playoffs and win.
Mm-hmm.
Want to do a plug and play. Cole Strange might have been that guy, or Linderbaugh might have been that guy. They was like, oh, fuck that. We're going to get Cole Strange. He going to play center. He going to play guard. He good enough to beat up 60 to 70% of the competition against him. We done seen can beat him, who can beat him, who's on our team, but there's not a lot of them out there. So Cole Strange is a real good pickup. I mean, probably the college that he went to didn't help his draft stock, but Belichick felt like he wanted to get him. He wanted, and he got him. Yeah. We all spoke that. If you want your guy, go get him, no matter what it is.
That's what we said.
In the receiver aspect, one of the fastest ones, he's going to use them. N'Keal Harry going to fuck around, be on the outside looking in. So
he already on the outside looking in.
Not as crucial on that draft. I could say who I did like was I like Green Bay's draft. Not simply because it's a whole team, but like you got some good values at tackle. They didn't have a lot of injuries at tackle, and they're shuffling with their offensive line. I think, drafting the many tackles that you did get and the value that you got at tackle helps that. And you got a good deal, a good Georgia deal on your defense. You already had a top 10 defense without them. So now that you add them, that's going to help your defense even more. So you're a playoff contender team, to me, in my eyes. I like what Buffalo did. You get a physical, strong corner. You get James Cook as a running back. Like, bruh, if you feed him the rock right, that can help a lot of your worries with Josh Allen and making him just be a pocket quarterback. You get Khalil Shakir from Boise State. Like, that's clutch, bruh. Like, I like what they did. Now, I don't like the whole draft, but I just like the stepping stones they took to still be competitive.
Absolutely. That Green Bay front, like a rotation, because you got Devontae with Kenny Clark and Rashawn Gary. That's crazy. That's a lot of athleticism. All right, which player landed in the best situation?
This is such a tough question. Why I pose the question, because to me it's a really, really tough question, and I think I might have to go Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm thinking Thibodeau, but I'm also thinking I think I might have to go Thibodeau, man, because just looking at it, I could say Logan Hall. I thought Logan Hall landed in a hell of a position in Tampa Bay. Yeah, like you just pretty much plugging into a championship defense with a championship coach, defensive coordinator, and you just taking Jason Pierre-Paul's spot maybe, or maybe 3 technique or whatever the case may be. Yeah, like, but you just taking a good spot there. And Kayvon, you playing next to who? Leonard Williams. I forgot the other guy they got from Cowboys last year, but that's a good defensive line as well. So, in my opinion, those two landed really well. I think Kenny Pickett landed well if he can produce.
With that, before you go to Pickett, with the Thibodeau move, factor in that Ojulari, last year's first round pick for them, I believe he led all rookies in sacks.
Oh, wow.
I think he had like 8 or so. So he was an instant impact starter. So you have them 2 bookends. It's crazy. Then not to mention, he's a businessman and he's in the biggest media market in the world.
Right.
I'll say personality-wise,
yeah,
Thibodeau definitely landed.
Perfect.
If it wasn't that, it would be like the Chargers or the Rams. Like, and probably not the Rams because ain't nobody staging down on right now. But
or Jalen.
Definitely, like with his personality, New York was the spot.
Yeah. You were saying Kenny Pickett if he's produced?
No, I mean, you take it over one of the most storied franchises in history, whether we like him or not. And you coming into a team with two legit wide receivers in Claypool and Deontay Johnson. And you coming into a good coach that's never been in a team that's never not won a playoff game or not been successful, never not had been under 500. So that's a good place. You're not coming into some place you got to build from the ground up. You're coming into halfway through. So that's a good landing spot for a quarterback. It's not all on him. All the pressure can't be on him. And you got Najee Harris to hand the ball off to.
Yep.
Well,
And he got a tight end, a hell of a tight end.
not just because he went to Pittsburgh, so I'm going to push back on that a little bit.
Mhm.
He's not going to a place where he might be afforded the luxury of sitting and learning, but not really. I think every quarterback in this draft could have sat and learned for a year.
I think he gonna learn on the fly.
Right. So
Yeah.
you learning on the fly. No, don't get me wrong. They grab receivers. They grab the receiver that I want. They already got Claypool and Deontay there. But you're going behind a young, shaky offensive line. You said you got the run game there. But nigga, you going into an AFC North where you gotta learn on the fly. And Ojabo and Owe and Bowser and Miles Garrett and the Bengals, whoever they want to bring in, Hendrickson, whoever, coming at you 6 games of the year, 6 games while you're 16. So you learning on the fly
Mhm.
and probably could possibly versus a shell shot.
But and the good thing about Pickett going there instead of the other quarterbacks is his age and the fact that he played a lot of football. Because he's not coming in as no 21-year-old kid. He's 24. And if you look at his progression at Pitt, you could tell like this past season, he got like he knew the offense like the back of his hand.
Right.
Like you went from 13, I think like 13 TDs and like 11 picks to 42 and 9. Like that's a pretty big learning curve. So, and then you're comfortable because you've been in that city for so long. You've been around that organization because I heard they
you
share like the
practically in the
same building.
Yeah, they're in the same building, the same practice building, all that.
So I don't think the learning curve will be as steep as if they went with like Willis or somebody. But like you said, that's a lot of guys on the fly that you got to prepare for. And if you produce, you're good.
Right.
But it shouldn't be a rush. Like he coming to an organization like T mentioned that's stable, whereas it's not going to feel like if he don't produce in year one, they're going to be going right back to the draft to get my replacement.
Right. Yeah, it's not a panicky franchise.
Right.
Other place I felt, other quarterback I felt landed as good as he did, not as good as, but close to, was Malik Willis. Like to land in Tennessee, the AFC #1 seed last year, that's pretty good. Like, you know what I mean? Like you get to come in there and you can learn. And if Tannehill not producing, who knows? Like, it's just, so that's a pretty good landing spot as well.
See, I see that as a better learning spot. Not necessarily a better landing spot, but a better spot to learn. Because, I mean, like you just said, Tannehill was the #1 seed, and they had Derrick Henry for a lot of the year.
Right.
So I don't think they're in a rush to really replace Tannehill. They can give Tannehill a year, and when his contract is up, all right, cool, we got Malik, right? Kind of what they're trying to do in San Francisco with Trey Lance.
Right. All right. So I got on the flip side of that, which player landed in the spot that you just like absolutely feel for?
Doesn't
Ritter.
You're
I love that spot for Ritter.
Atlanta, right?
Yes.
All right.
Not all right.
Why?
How many years was Matt Ryan the most hit quarterback in the league?
It wasn't this year. Well, last
No,
year.
because AV was blocking for Lamar. That's why. Niggas was still top 5.
That's a young offensive line. Like if I'm not thinking, like all 5 of their draft picks, all 5 of their linemen was what, first round picks, right?
They still got Alex Mack over there down there.
Nah.
All right.
What's the kid? John is Lindstrom, right? I think Lindstrom's the center down there.
From
But
Miami.
I like it from a standpoint of one, like I said, like similar to Kenny Pickett. He, like Desmond Ridder, been a 4-year starter who has seen a lot and been productive. And you go to a system under the head coach, what's his name? I can't think of the head, Arthur Smith. When he was in Tennessee, he got the most out of Ryan Tannehill.
Mhm.
He was the main reason why Ryan Tannehill in Miami and Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee looked totally different. Arthur Smith had a lot to do with that. And I believe Desmond Ridder is a lot more talented than what Tannehill did. I see him in the same vein as Mariota, maybe a little better arm. But you're not in a situation where you got to start right away. You can learn from Mariota because you fit the scheme that they're going to try to run. So once you get your feet wet, it's your team.
In my opinion, the person who probably landed the worst is Jameson Williams. I mean, if you've seen the pictures over the last couple days, Jameson Williams looked like he literally, like, I don't know how to put it. It
He'll
looked
be out when
like,
he get that first game check.
yeah, looked like, I can't believe I got Aiden Hutchinson all smiles holding his jersey up, and Jameson Williams looked like he just lost his dog. So, you got Jared Goff, and I don't think that they drafted a replacement. Not a replacement, but like did they draft an heir apparent?
Nah, waiting for next year.
Right.
Right. So,
Bryce Young.
could be some time here for Jameson Williams.
Hold up.
Especially-
No, hell no. Who's their backup quarterback? They had to sign somebody.
Detroit.
They
don't have no
had to
backup
sign.
quarterback?
Please. I say that because how many games? How many
All right,
games?
which one of these backup quarterbacks you want? They got Tim Boyle and they got David Blow. Which one of them backup quarterbacks you want?
They lost the draft. They lost. They had a good draft and a bad draft all in one. Because in my mind, like, well, I guess then again, I take that back because they're handicapped to Jared Goff because of his price. So they can't really address it in free agency. And they can't really be in the Baker Mayfield sweepstakes because of how big Jared Goff's price tag is. But if somehow they was able to figure that out, that would be a good spot for Baker.
It'd be a great spot for Baker, but they ain't got no money for that.
That's
Bryce Young.
so it's gonna be another wasted year. You know how many games last year they could have won if Jared Goff would have been like
Just mid, just
yo.
not bad. Like
That's crazy, yo.
Yeah, for as good as a draft as they had, in my opinion, they could have got much more value. And that's just me. That's me, right?
Everybody can't get value.
When you got that many holes on a team, you got to try to find value somewhere. You take Aiden Hutchinson. All right, that's a no-brainer, right?
right.
Right? If that's who you want, you take Aiden Hutchinson here, Michigan guy, whatever. Cool. Now, me personally, I'll take Aiden Hutchinson. All right. I might trade out of 12 to around 14, 15, 16. That's just me personally. And
Hold on,
try
hold
to
on.
get type of some more third round picks. They had
Hold
no
on,
picks.
hold on, T. Hold on, T. Because you're forgetting how they got to 12.
They moved up, right?
20 spots.
Yeah.
20.
Okay.
Wait. Let us sink in. You move up 20 spots to get another receiver when you just signed DJ. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 1,000 yards.
Right.
You just signed Josh Reynolds the same year. You traded up 20 spots to get a receiver when you ain't got a quarterback that's going to throw the ball.
Bro.
It sounded like Detroit before they got Matthew Stafford all over again.
Like, what y'all doing?
But that's what I'm saying. So I would like to know what they gave up. So they obviously gave up, what was it, pick 32?
Yeah.
They gave up pick 32. They had to give up more than that. And they probably gave up, obviously their fourth rounder. They had to give up their one next year or something. I don't know. But what did they give up in the trade? Because it just, you're right. It just don't make no sense. You got three.
They gave up picks 32, 34, and 66
Bro.
for 12 and 46. So that second first rounder, the second rounder, well, damn. And then third rounder. For first and second.
That's too many holes, bro. Too many holes for you to make a move like that for a position that you don't need right away.
And the cherry on top is a receiver coming off of ACL at a position you don't need.
So that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's
people
more,
just
that's more strange than what the Patriots did selecting Cole Strange to me.
Yeah. You don't move up that many spots for a wide receiver unless you. Nah. I wouldn't. I don't understand it.
Yo, and St. Brown had 1,000 yards, right? Somewhere around there. DJ Chalk was a Pro Bowler.
Right. DJ was hurt, but he was on his way to some yards.
And like you said, you just invested that money in Josh Reynolds. So
that's three guys. Not to mention Quintez Cephas is still there, who was a year removed from Wisconsin. Like,
Hawkinson's still there. Hawkinson get bulk of the catches. I know for
right.
Right. What is? I mean,
you're not throwing the ball. That's crazy. Yeah, he's that's a tough spot for him to land in. He was
So real quick to answer the question, because I ain't see the good fits. I like Zion Johnson as the Chargers. For me, I like Lloyd to Jacksonville. Like Sky Moore to Kansas City.
Seen that one coming.
I don't know how we let that happen.
I like Kenneth Walker to Seattle. They just good fits to me for me. What I don't like is I don't like Tyler Smith to Dallas.
No.
Not at all. Especially you reached for a tackle where you could have waited to the second round. Jermaine Johnson was right there. You just can't pass that up.
And you put him in a situation where he got to produce. Exactly. And he ain't ready to produce.
I would say right
now, he's not ready.
Nah. I don't like Wan'Dale Robinson to New York. That's just not a good fit for me. Again, you don't know the quarterback situation. You decline a fifth-year option. You got the highest paid receiver payroll in all the NFL, and they not producing. So you adding bullshit to bullshit. Like, get some type of foundation, get a quarterback, do something, switch the shit up. Because how you doing it right now ain't working.
Maybe it's just me. So correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong. Wan'Dale Robinson is almost similar build and similar play style as the first rounder y'all trying to get rid of, correct?
What are you talking about?
Talking about Tony.
Yeah, Kadarius Toney.
Hell no.
And Wan'Dale Robinson.
Well, yeah. But I don't think he really
they
trying to
both
get rid
small
of
wide receivers that are shifty. You trying to get rid of one. So why are you trying to pick up another one?
When you already got, I understand Sterling Shepard get hurt a lot. but you got another Sterling
The
Shepard.
whole roster get hurt. Evan Ingram was hurt. You had two tight ends that was on the injured list for most of the year. With Evan Ingram and Kyle Rudolph. You had two tight ends that was on IR for the whole year.
That's all the bad landing spots you got, John?
I had more, but I blacked out for a minute. So like once we kept going up, scrolling up and down, it's a lot more.
Right.
Right.
Oh, I got one. It's not really it's not a bad landing spot. I just want y'all thoughts on the decision because we just broke down how Detroit got a great player. It's just a bad decision with the Jameson Williams. Jordan Davis is what we believe is going to be a really, really, really good player. But when you look at that roster, D tackle was not a need.
Mhm.
Hargrave, Fletcher Cox, Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett, Brandon Graham. These guys can play multiple looks. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the back end,
Yeah.
Anthony Harris is the only safety that's producing.
Mm-hmm.
Why not take Kyle Hamilton?
I don't know. But I think I'm not sure, but I think I mocked them a safety later. I can't remember who it was. But it just don't make sense. It makes sense. It don't make sense because I don't want it to make sense because the way things took place. But even though I'm happy with our pick, which we'll probably get to later, but I just thought that I just never saw that coming from them. Like, and look on y'all face when y'all knew it was there, it was happening.
It was happening. As soon as he traded up, I say that's what it is.
Right.
Maybe they forgot Kyle Hamilton was on the board like we did.
I definitely did.
Because, like, it just makes too much sense. The safety falls into your lap. Like,
Perfect balance for your team.
Philly needs that safety. Like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's crazy. All right, what's the next one we got? The player the Ravens added that you're most excited to see in the game situation is who?
Isaiah Likely.
Who?
Isaiah Likely. I mean, I think all the players that we got fit what the Ravens are trying to do. I can see it. I can see what they're trying to do. So all of them fit there. But for me, watching Isaiah Likely, knowing I'm not a high Nick Boyle guy, but I appreciate it, right? I appreciate him blocking. I appreciate him being a second fullback on the field. I appreciate that. But he's not a threat in the receiving game. Isaiah Likely is.
I think it was some reports that they brought Likely in because he could possibly be like a wide receiver as well. So yeah.
My thing,
I got played.
I would say I'm gonna stick with that just to continue the conversation. But I'm gonna say Charlie Kohler. Because in my opinion, Charlie Kohler makes Nick Boyle expendable. He takes Nick Boyle off the field completely because he's 6'6.5". Let's just round up, say he's 6'7".
Mm-hmm.
Over 250 pounds. He's a willing blocker. Now, obviously, typically every tight end gets better as a blocker in the league. He's a willing blocker. However, he's hands down the second best route runner at the tight end position on the team, including Isaiah Likely. So you factor in that, you go in 12 personnel with him and Andrews. One, you can't match up because he's 6'7" and 250. What you gonna put on him? And he's route running savvy. He ran a 4.6 40 at that. You factor all that in, like you can play the way you want to play and still be multiple. Even 13 personnel, you put Likely on the field with him and add Likely to the field, that's a lot of speed. And you can still run your typical offense. So I'm excited to see how he transitions, and that's going to make him expendable. Like, especially with you signing Ricard back. Yeah, boy, it's the end of the line.
Putting that Boyle fullback, but Pat Ricard can play defensive line.
Why would you take the best fullback out for?
I'm joking. I'm just calling that man a fullback.
In my opinion, I'm torn kind of between. Obviously, I want to see Ojabo on the field. Obviously, I mean, we were talking about picking Ojabo 14 from January to what till he got hurt, right? So obviously, I'm excited. I'm most interested to see Ojabo on the field. I'm also interested to see Daniel Fa'alele on the field. Excuse me, because
you had to wait.
Yeah, we had to wait.
I mean, you're not going to have to wait too long. August ain't that far away.
Oh, you talking about preseason? I'm talking about regular season.
That's why I say game situation.
Yeah, regular season. Okay.
My other reason for saying game situation is because I'm excited to see some of these undrafted free agents in game situations. I'm excited to see Zakoby McClain in a game situation for the Ravens. I'm excited to see what's the dude out of Alabama. What's his name? I forgot his name. Bolden.
Slade Bolden, who came up, who had a good games in some of the playoff games and some of the championship game. Crucial third down, short slot receiver, but also a possession receiver. I'm excited to see guys like him. Also want to see what we get out of the safety Chris Moore from Georgia State. So these are just guys that I'm interested to see. I want to see how they match up against NFL talent. And who knows, we could have, well, will the Ravens keep an undrafted free agent? If anybody can make the team, it's probably McClain. With special teams, it could be Slade Bolden with special teams and his ability, if he can return. I don't know if he can return kicks or not. But I'm curious to see Jeremiah Moon, because they gave him the most money. I'm not familiar with him, but they gave him the most money. I think they gave him like 30 grand.
Oh, the linebacker. Okay.
Yeah. Let me see. Let me double.
Is he a pass rusher or is he an interior? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yeah, outside backer, and they gave him 35 guaranteed. So that's by far the most. It's a big gap between the people that's undrafted.
Okay. The quarterback out of Oregon, Anthony Brown, and I believe they got his receiver as well.
Devon Williams.
Williams, right. So yeah, so I'm excited to see those guys in game situations. This is what's that's what makes preseason so great in my opinion. Like we get to see them. We don't really get the camp buzz that we used to get, but this is what's gonna make it great.
I'm gonna go with the second first round pick, and that's Linderbaum. You already know that you're gonna make Lamar Jackson one of the top 5 top paid quarterbacks. So how do you invest into that? You get that motherfucker a center who can stay with him for 5 to 8+ years. And he is one of the top interior linemen, one of the highest rated interior linemen that we have ever seen in a while. And I'm interested to see how he goes against the AFC North. I'm interested to see Jones. because at the end of the day, he can be what Brandon Williams should have been when he got paid at the end of the day. So I'm very interested to see that. I'm interested to see I think Ross, linebacker from Michigan.
My man.
Mhm.
If you watch a lot of his
My
game,
man.
you see he's
Everywhere.
with the blitz. Like he can ease, he can make himself skinny when like he can get off block. So
Everywhere.
I think he's gonna be the one. I think he's gonna be the true one in that defensive scheme that coming from Michigan, that he's gonna make the team on a practice squad or something like that. That he's not gonna lead the team. So either he's gonna make it special team wise and be a backup, or he's gonna be a practice squad guy. But I think he's gonna make the team.
Robert says Jacoby McClain should be decent if he can get better at taking on blocks. He'll be a good player. Roland said he heard Linderbaum is about 308 now. I don't care what Linderbaum weight is, man.
It'd be 235, all I care.
Bruh, the talent is there.
Yeah.
Talent is crazy.
I like the Jacoby McClain free agent pickup. I just looking at his tape, I was excited, but I just knew he just needed like a little bit more fine tuning. So if we staff him on the practice squad for a year and he get to learn, I think he's going to be something year 2, year 3. You know, one of those guys.
To answer, you said Robert, right? Robert said that he needs to take on blocks better. I think that's a bullseye assessment on him. But that's what the Ravens do great. Like they draft undrafted free agent linebackers and then they turn them into players, right? That's what they do. That's one of the best things they do. So I'm not worried about that. Whoever they decide to stick around, whether it's Ross, whether it's McClain, whoever it is, great. Like, you know what I mean? That's just a great undrafted pickup. That's what makes it so great. We get to see them throughout the off season, after OTAs, after training camp, and then into the preseason, how they improved, and we'll be hearing about it. So that's the great thing about undrafted free agent season and all that. But I'm really excited to see Devin Williams. I think Devin Williams gives us a dynamic in a wide receiver room that we don't get outside of Benjamin Victor. Like he's the only.
Yeah, I think with Williams though, he need a little more time. Like I feel like he could have benefited staying one more year because he has high point ability, but when you watch him, he's just slow in and out of his breaks. Really slow with it. So I mean, that's something you got the best, in my opinion. You got the best wide receiver coach in the game working with him. So definitely could see a improvement from him. Mekhi Pope, another one from Mississippi State, another 6'3" receiver that is undrafted. It's interesting. Tony says we can have 3 undrafted free agents make the team. I don't know about that. That's a little much. 3 guys make the team. I don't know.
I mean, if I was going to pick 3, my 3 would probably be Slade Bolden, probably Jacoby McClain, and
well,
I would go those 2 and maybe Moon, since they hired him. So
well, it's early. It's possible because I'm thinking about 3 guys you would cut. So like, I thought the 3 guys kind of quick. Well, one for sure was quick. Was Ferguson.
Definitely cut him. I'm sorry, I did not mean to say that, Jalen, out loud, but yeah.
Oliver. I think Oliver will get beat out by Likely.
Without a doubt. If he even make camp. I mean, that's
Guys like Nate McCrary, but like I'm trying not to pick guys who's on the fringe anyway. You know what I mean?
okay. I
Like,
see what you're saying.
but those two guys were on the roster last year. They was on the 53 for most of the year. You get what I'm saying?
Right. But
I was thinking Nick Boyle, just for cap reasons,
I mean, Justice
especially
Hill.
if Kolar picks it up well, if likely pick it up. You know what I'm saying? But then again, not they would go for. I think they would go for tight ends.
So Justice Hill was out of there,
Nah,
especially with D.
he too good on special teams, man. But D gonna have to beat him there. That's how the D gonna make the team, beat him on special teams.
I forgot who we have as coach. You're right.
But not even just him as a coach. That's the NFL. A lot of these guys we mentioned that's undrafted, they make the team because of special teams.
But he's not undrafted. He had 6th-round pick. Justice Hill's contract is expiring.
Yeah, I mean that's still undrafted in my. Well, it's not. But I get what you're saying. But Tyson Williams is on the fringe.
All right.
Mhm.
Nate McCrary, stuff like that.
All right. These are undrafted.
Kayvon
Robert-
Seymour.
Not the
Say it
niggas
again?
you put 6th round, wouldn't you?
Oh, you said Kevon Seymour?
Yeah.
Yeah. Robert Jackson, he cut.
Who?
Who?
Robert Jackson, I think he cut.
Yeah, he got. I don't know who the hell he is.
I think you see him on here.
17. Who gave 17 when Devontae scored?
Oh, right,
When
nigga
he-
that got hit with
When he
the.
had noticeable help inside, and hey, bro, I'm
He got hit
here,
with the
help me.
corner
Gino,
route.
tell him I'm right here, and he still went for the
Right.
fake.
He
Yeah.
just like nigga.
Nigga, you
But no-
got outside leverage. I'm right here inside. I'm gonna jump inside with him like this.
Oh, oh, Rob.
Robert says, "Will Chuck Clark start or be shifted to the Anthony Levine role?"
He's gonna be shifted to the Anthony Spillane role.
Not
He
Spillane.
out of there. He out of there.
I think Chuck Clark starts. I mean, he has too much knowledge. He can grasp the playbook real quick, like he did when he was a rookie and he was a second-year player. I think it's gonna take time for that whole rotation where he's like in that Levine role, he wants to be out. But he calls too many plays, and he has the green dot helmet to just say he's not gonna start.
Yeah, when y'all say Levine role, y'all do remember Levine was like the special team ace.
Right.
He only came in on certain packages,
Mhm.
like as like a dime backer.
Right.
In my opinion, if they go dime in their dime situation, their dime look, depending on the team, I would rather have Hamilton there and put Chuck on the back end at a different spot.
No.
Just because of Hamilton's range to make plays. Was actually, you know what? No, he
I'd
can
rather-
play down. He can play down. But I think the typical. It's not. I don't think it's a matter of like starting. It's just a matter of like snaps.
he's gonna start. Like John said, he knows too much of the defense. He's a defensive signal caller. He's gonna start. That's just what it is. He might be out of there on second and third down, depending on what first down do. But he's gonna start.
You gonna get that nigga Brandon Carl role.
Not Brandon Cobb.
But I mean, by drafting Cal Hamilton and creating whatever defensive play calling you want, he opens up a lot of doors. Like you can put him,
Linebacker.
yeah, you can put him against one of the top tight ends and not be afraid, or he gonna get embarrassed. Like it's just it opens up so many doors defensively. Like you be like, oh shit, I gotta wait for one of these linebackers to get burnt. I'm a double fast or one of the best receivers, but I know the X factor right over here. I'm not even gonna go over there, and I'm gonna still continue to get the first down. You can't honestly say that with Kyle Hamilton in the lineup if you depending on where you put him.
It's a hell of a chess piece, boy. All right. Let's switch gears to the NBA. T, you gotta explain this one. The Doc Rivers statement, man. Teach
Well,
me.
Now, here's what I'm saying. A lot of people were giving Doc Rivers flack because he had Joel Embiid in the game that late in a blowout win. So they were blaming him for having him on the court when he clearly could have been sitting down somewhere else. Like he could have been sitting down out the game and not gotten hurt. Now, I'm asking you guys, do you guys shop that it's Doc Rivers' fault, or do you stop Doc Rivers, it being Doc Rivers' fault?
I stop it.
I'll go first. Here's my thing. You can't shop this if you didn't shop it being John Harbaugh's fault that Dobbins got hurt. So therefore you got to stop it, because injuries
one more time.
If you blame John Harbaugh for Dobbins getting hurt in the preseason game when he shouldn't have.
That's bullshit.
It's happened, right?
That's
so
football.
You can't stop either. Like, I mean, I'm all for finishing out a game with your starters if need be, and that's just what it be. Like, I mean, you can't say, oh well, you can't plan on Joel Embiid getting hit in the eye socket and getting hurt or whatever the case may be. Now, I thought he was just being soft at the time. I didn't know it was an orbital fracture. I was like, man.
Thought he was being soft for real?
Yeah, I didn't know.
That bony ass elbow?
I don't know. I didn't know he got spiked in the eye socket.
Yeah, he got cracked good too.
Yeah. So I just thought, like, all right, come on. I was like, all right, it hurt, but I didn't know that he was going to be like, he ran around a little bit, and I was like, all right, he doing a little bit too much. But then it came out that he had like a fractured eye socket or whatever, which I seen before live. Shout out to T-Mac. My opposite defensive end when I played ball, but I seen him get his eye socket get fractured live playing football. And then he turned to me. He looked like this the first minute, and then he turned away and came back and was like, yo, this how his eye look. He was like, do it look bad? I'm like, yeah, you need to get out of here. Go just check that out. But shout out to him though. Yeah, so I mean, I seen that look bad. Embiid didn't look that bad. Is Mac? Mac had to get a plate put in. So, yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I stop it because you can't predict injuries. That's just how it goes. Plus, also, we don't know what details are in his contract as far as playoff bonuses.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It could be, he got to play a certain amount of minutes in the playoff in order to get a couple $100,000. There's been stories of where certain coaches will know a player got a bonus that they're about to hit, and they'll take them out and sit them because they don't want to give them that money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So we don't know what it is, the fine print of things. So I don't pay that no mind. It's a freak accident. It is what it is. Tony Luster said Travis Jones would definitely be the steal of the draft, bro.
I'm hoping you're right. We always, again. Oh.
It's just exciting to know, like, we was coveting Jordan Davis, but it was like, if we don't get Jordan, we definitely want Travis. And we got one of them, so I'm good.
This was the first year that, for me, I don't know about y'all, I felt like, not that they heard us, but that we saw the same things they saw in players. Like, I do think I got a little ways to go in selecting corners for the Ravens. Like, they obviously have a type of corner that they like. And I think that's like the only position where I don't have a real grasp of what they were looking for in a player. But I felt like this year was the first year. Everybody that they selected, just looking at this list, was people that was on our list, with the exception of, in my case, Damarian Williams. Like, I really didn't really didn't see him. So y'all was talking about Badi in the weeks leading up to the draft, especially when we had the IM running back series. Y'all was talking about him too. Like in Isaiah Likely, we was high on Isaiah Likely, especially me. I was high on Isaiah Likely from the beginning. Like he was one of the, in my opinion,
we told you you was gonna like him.
yeah. Jordan Stout, you guys talked about him, coming out or whatever the case may be. Charlie Kohler, y'all was a little bit high on, more high
That's
on
my
him.
favorite. Charlie was my favorite in the draft.
Right. I was a Jelani Woods guy, still a Jelani Woods guy. Jalen Armour Davis. I like Josh Jobe. That's just me. Daniel Faalele, y'all talked about that in February. Like,
go back further than that.
I heard y'all in February. But
Right.
y'all,
I said that to y'all, hey, check out this monster right here.
right. Once we seen Travis Jones in the Senior Bowl, we knew what it was. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what David Ojabo, like I said, we was talking about him in January, being a pick at 14. Linderbaum, John was a Linderbaum guy forever. Like, and then you got Kyle Hamilton. Everybody loved Kyle Hamilton. So I felt like we really tapped into what they was thinking, like, as far as players, best player available.
I'm going to say I took him off my
and
board.
got balanced.
I'm going to say I took Kyle Hamilton off my board.
Of course. I mean, nobody thought he was going to make it.
I didn't think he was going to be there.
What'd you say, John?
I say we got value and we got balanced as a team.
Yeah.
For what we want to do.
Okay. That makes a statement. When you finish that statement, it makes sense.
I mean, I know my team, so I kind of know what they want to do. So even though, of course we want a receiver, but Ari DeCosta said, we're going to find some people, we're going to look around. It is what it is. But I believe for what we want to do, run the ball, eat you up in the middle of the field, occasionally go outside with Bateman. We're going to spread the ball around. So it is what it is. I got a question for y'all. Do y'all think, because I remember, I think it was Herb or Tay who sent that like little video of the Casa saying, who we gonna get, and y'all was throwing around the question of who you think you was gonna get for the second round.
Oh, I sent that,
yeah, and it was like his eye was twitching and shit. I was
shit. I think he being serious.
No, but I am being serious. I'm asking this question, like, do you think they already had their picks already in? Because he was kind of sure that he was already knew he was gonna get.
Yeah, he knew he was gonna get him.
Right.
He knew Ojabo was the pick. And I thought that it was the pick. I just ain't want to say it and jinx it.
Right. But it makes you think, like, in that war room, they already know like certain picks that's gonna fall to them? Like, okay, I'm gonna put my shit in now for day 2. So since it's like not of a big occasion, it's like that's one of the tell you, like, I want to be in that war room. Like, I want to see how things shit just go in and go out.
And that goes into the relationships that he has with other GMs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those conversations that he figuring, he just feel it. Like, man, I know he looking at them. They ain't looking at Ojabo right here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it worked out. Tony says, he wrote a lot. He wrote, Ojabo was a no-brainer second for sure. Okay. Kyle Hamilton reminds him of Steve Atwater. Wow.
That's high praise.
I mean, he got that range. Ozzie definitely had input on this draft. Ozzie has input in every draft.
Well, what I learned about that is a lot of people have input on every draft.
Exactly. And that's different.
That is different. That article you shared gave me a lot of insight on it not being a one-man show. Like, you know what I mean? You said in the article, it said 37 people were in that room, right? And you notice in that article, which I don't know, maybe we can share it to the group so they can see it, but they got a giraffe in there, and their motto is stick your neck out for somebody. So if you're pounding on the pavement for a guy, you're going to get your guy. I believe they had a scout in there, like they was kicking around somebody or whatever the case may be, and they said
it was a corner.
Was it a corner? Was it?
Yeah, he advocated for DeMarion Williams.
Right. He advocated for him, and they was like, you know what? All right, let's go.
Yeah.
That's and not only that, but I believe they came up and drafted. Somebody came up and drafted a receiver right in front of our Isaiah Likely pick or whatever. And,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh did, right? And then who was that? That guy was going to be the pick, but Pittsburgh got him. And then out of nowhere, it said John Harbaugh was like, well, what about Likely? Like that. And it's just funny to think that you wouldn't think that, but everybody has input. And then they say, he said, what about Likely? And everybody was like, well, all right, well, what about Likely?
He said, Roman, you can find a spot for him, right? All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's to know that everybody's working together like that. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Like that he values everybody's opinion.
And Anthony Weaver, who's now the D-line coach. I think he's assistant head coach now too, right?
Right.
He stood on the table for Travis Jones.
Right.
From the jump.
I like that.
Shouldn't have been there, but he was there.
Hey,
Free.
That's beautiful, man. And that points to the fabric of the organization and why we keep hearing them being first class and there's nothing like it. And not only that, that's also reasons why since Joe Douglas took over with the Jets, they've been having great drafts. Or why teams, when they look for executives, they go to the Ravens and say, I need to get this. I need to get him from there. Get him from there. It's a beautiful system that they built there.
That type of atmosphere breeds leadership, right? So like you said, when Joe Douglas goes somewhere else, he's already used to being in that situation. It's not shocking to him. It's not a shaking thing. Even with Phil, when you think about Phil Savage,
right? And he was one of the originals. Yeah. Robert said, "Thank God people put so much stock in the combine. Otherwise, Hamilton doesn't fall to 14, and Linderbaum doesn't last to 25." Bro,
paralysis by analysis. That's all that is.
Yeah, if they really passed on Kyle Hamilton because he ran a 4.59.
Paralysis by analysis. You start looking at
Indy. Y'all high.
You start looking at everything and you kind of forget the tape that you've seen that made you actually fall in love with this guy. Like I started to do the last week before the draft. Like, yo, I'm watching so much tape and so much footage that it's clouding my brain of what I actually liked about him in the beginning. So I can see how it happens.
Yeah. But with him, it's just simple. Like I don't need your 40 time. When I can, it's
but again,
if you
start analyzing everything, it's called paralysis by analysis. You start looking at everything.
Like
only thing I need to see from Kyle Hamilton is: do you show up on Saturdays? Do you show up in big games? It's the moment too big for you. Are you ranging? All right, cool.
Right.
Like I didn't go back and start picking apart his tape or his combine because I didn't think it was possible that he was going to fall out of the top 10.
Yeah. Like with Kyle Hamilton, it was only 3 plays I needed to see that stamped he was the best in the draft for me. Obviously, the Florida State play when he came from the hash to the sideline and get a pick.
I said that's all I needed to see. That game.
That was insane. The play on 4th and 1 against Purdue, they ran like a toss or something. And he read it, and he came through the alley quick. Got the running back for like a half-yard loss, whatever, on 4th and 1. And the third one, he didn't make the play. He didn't break the pass up. But I think it was against Bama in 2020. He lines up like he's it's like he's a single safety. So he in the middle of the field. I can't think if it's Mechie or Waddle. Whoever it was ran a 9 route. Mind you, he in the middle of the field. I timed it. He got from the middle of the field to the numbers because the ball went out of bounds. He got from the middle of the field to the numbers like 40 yards down the field in like 3 seconds. I said, yeah, that's insane. I don't give a damn. I don't care nothing about no tests. That's insane. He covering a lot of ground. Robert said, Trayvon Trayvon Walker became the #1 pick because he ran 4.5 at 275.
Mhm.
I think that's
Not
part of it. That's definitely part of it. However,
whew,
watch tape.
watch the tape, bro.
I
Watch
still
the
would have took Aiden over him. Me personally, I
never,
still probably would have took Aiden.
never would have
But
took eight.
you say you
If
would
you
have?
watch, I would have gave up whatever to get Trayvon Walker, because in my opinion, what he does versus the run is better than anybody in this draft, and he can pass rush, and he bring that type of mentality. His intangibles is what makes him the best overall #1 pick. Aiden Hutchinson is really good, but Aiden Hutchinson is closer to his ceiling than Trayvon Walker is,
That's true.
and that's not even a doubt in my mind.
That's true. Yo, one of the funniest plays, you know how like they show each play has that one moment, like, damn, that was crazy. Like Trayvon, when he in the bowl game, when he killed the pulling center, the pulling guard for Michigan, he took on that block. That was insane. If you just watch that game again. What Aiden Hutchinson does to tight ends who try to block him is absolutely hilarious. Georgia has a tight end that's like 6'7", 6'8", 275 pounds, whatever, right?
Is it the freshman?
Might be. I don't know. He's a big kid. Aiden threw this boy like you would do your child. Get the fuck, move. I said, yo, that's insane.
He got drafted.
Absolutely insane. We got a question. What veteran receiver fits on this team?
Jarvis.
What other veterans out there right now?
Jarvis, Odell, Julio, Will
Wait.
Fuller. Damn, I was just looking at the list. Too.
Let me get the list now.
T.Y. Hilton. Let's
see.
That one for me was T.Y. I mean, T.Y. is Jarvis.
That fits. All right, so let's just let the record show the age on this list is like 29 and 28 and over, from what I'm saying. 27 and over.
Mm-hmm.
The names that you mentioned outside of Jarvis, to be honest, I'd rather stick with the young guys. And it's no disrespect to the guys that's out there on the street, because they can still play. It's just for what you want in this offense at receiver, guys who can win one-on-one, who has strong hands and yak ability. You have that. Just have to use them. So why? I don't understand why investing more money there to bring a veteran in to start over these guys instead of giving the shots that they earn or deserve.
Well, if they earned it,
Prochet might be 5'11", but Prochet gets the football.
The better question here is which veteran cornerback will the Ravens bring in? And
can we address one issue at a time?
I mean, wide receiver is not a priority.
It's not an issue.
Yeah, let him play. Let him play. In my opinion,
I'm fine with letting them play. I'm perfectly fine with that. But only in Baltimore do niggas say just not add a weapon. Like, what type of mentality is that?
No, Al, no. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying that.
You just said that. You said I'd rather just let him play. That's what you just said.
No. But you missed the back end of that. Because if you add a Jarvis Landry, you're pushing another weapon. You're all you're doing is stunting the growth of a young player.
Can't that young player still get in? I mean, Jarvis Landry don't have to play the whole game, right? You can rotate people, right?
You can rotate people out, but when the
It's
system,
never a problem to add another weapon. It's never a bad thing to add another weapon, ever.
Let me ask you that.
but when the
Is that
system,
our
all
MO?
right, so Taywan, help him understand why the system that the Ravens run caters more to tight ends than it does spreading out with 4+ wide receivers.
I know what the system that the Ravens run and what it caters to. That's why we have the draft that we have. I understand what it does.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, when is there a problem with adding another weapon? We had a great draft. I'm not knocking the draft at one bit. I love the draft that we had. Two things can be true though. This is a weapons league.
The problem is you're disrespecting the weapons that you already have.
Not only that,
I'm helping them out.
It's a problem when you bring in Michael Crabtree and he don't produce, but you play him the whole year, right? Because you paid him, right? It's a problem when you bring in Sammy Watkins, but you play him anyway, even though he's not the better option because you're paying him. It's a problem when you got Willie Snead on the field, but you're paying him, so you're playing him over what could possibly be a better option. What we're saying is this is when it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem when the better options are not seeing the field because of you got so much money locked up into it. How many times have we said this? Advocated openly for Willie Snead to get out of here because we want Willie Snead in here. You advocated yourself, Al, for Sammy Watkins to get out of here because he's not producing. You advocated for Michael Crabtree to get out of here because he's not producing. So instead of bringing in somebody, tying money into that, why not just let the young guys play from the jump?
So the Ravens MO is adding a wide receiver. Am I wrong in saying that? Is that not that?
It is. That's the problem. That's why we say let them play.
And plus when you hear multiple times from the GM and the head coach, multiple times this offseason, say we like our young guys. It's about time for us to give them a shot.
They said the same thing when they drafted Rashad Bateman and Tylan Wallace.
No.
They said the same exact shit.
You missed.
I like our guys. Adding another receiver.
But you missing.
And then they added 2 more wide receivers.
I get what you're saying. They said that last. That was smoke and mirrors. Because when you look at that roster, they didn't have a number 1 guy like Rashad Bateman.
I just wanted to make sure we're looking at the same goddamn roster. All right, cool.
But I don't. Hey, to me, if you screaming out veteran guys like Jarvis Landry, who going to command a nice cap number, who has the intangibles to play in any offense, knowing the history and the system that the Ravens run, you had to overpay him to come here. Same thing with a Julio. Same thing, like maybe not with Muhammad, somebody like Muhammad Sanu. Muhammad Sanu probably be the best veteran that we could bring in.
At 86 years old?
He's 32.
You can't have it both ways, Al.
Muhammad Sanu is 32. He can still run routes. He's a big receiver. He could block. He still gets open. If you need any proof, watch his tape from this season. But you see what I'm saying? That's a bad move. But bring somebody like Muhammad Sanu is a proven vet, but you can still allow the young guys to prove themselves. Anybody other than that, you
32
really
years old. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. My bad. Go ahead.
You said 32 years old.
Go ahead, John. Tell him, John. Tell him you can't have it both ways.
Right.
First of all, what can't Duvernay do that any other veteran receiver out there right now can do?
Please tell me.
Because when Duvernay get the ball in his hand, he makes shit happen.
And he can stretch the field.
We done seen it on trick plays. We done seen when it.
Muhammad Sanu is 32 years old. He'll be 33 when the season starts. Jarvis Landry is 29. He won't be 30 when the season starts. What's the difference? Are we asking what's the difference?
No, you're missing the difference. The difference is the money. And because of the money, you're stunning the growth of another young player. That's all we're saying. at a position that you don't really need. You don't really need to pay. You don't need to pay another a higher price veteran receiver come in and stunt the growth of capable players. You set out your mouth all year long. Prochet get on the field in Denver and had what 7 catches, 70-some yards,
And
and then the next week he's on the bottom of the bench. Another week he has like 8. He had 100 yards. The game in Detroit where Hollywood dropped 4 touchdowns. Prochet had damn near 100 yards. Like he's a proven. Like let the man get a real shot.
Right, understand
Save
that.
your money.
We're
Invest it
saying the
elsewhere.
same thing. We're saying the same thing. I'm just adding something to it.
We're not saying the same thing.
We're saying the same thing. I'm adding something to it.
No,
You're saying let the young guys get their shot. I'm saying let the young guys get their shot. But what I'm saying is, what is wrong with adding another weapon?
Because
You
that
did
weapon,
have 2,000.
Wait, I gave you a weapon.
Let me speak.
I gave you a proven veteran. That's a weapon.
Let me speak.
That's a big receiver. And you said no because he's 32.
He's 33. Muhammad Sanu was done in New England. Muhammad Sanu was done in New England with Tom Brady. Muhammad Sanu was done in New England with Tom Brady. Like, are we serious?
Bruh, watch football.
Muhammad
Sanu gets open. I just threw out a name. Just look at it. Look at the list.
But what I'm saying is, yes, the young guys should get on the field. The young guys should make plays. I'm not knocking Duvernay, Prochet, Bateman, Collins. Not knocking them at all. But what I'm saying is, when Tampa Bay had 2 wide receivers that was getting 1,000 yards and being Pro Bowlers, they didn't say, oh, no, we're not going to add another receiver and take them off the field. They're not going to say, no, we're not adding another tight end and we have 2 tight ends. That's proven. They said we're going to add more weapons. The Rams said we're going to add more weapons.
Not only is it 2 different systems,
they changed the goddamn system. Obviously, the system that they adding is working. Ain't winning Super Bowls, and ours isn't.
They won.
That's not even
8 and 9.
That's not even
talking about the system.
Al, you can't say, oh, let's let the young guys play, and then say, let's bring in Jarvis Landry and expect Jarvis Landry to sit on a bench. It's just not going to happen.
Not rotate players. Is that illegal to rotate players? Is it illegal?
And how's that letting the young guys play?
Okay. All right, cool.
I'm just saying,
we'll revisit this in December when niggas ain't got no catches.
Wait. Because what you need to do. Hold on, John, real quick. Because he brought up Tampa Bay and talking about 2 receivers and 2 tight ends. OJ Howard, even in that situation, we said OJ Howard is buried on the bench. He wasn't producing. He was buried on the bench for Cameron Brate and an even older Gronk. He was buried. That's not producing. That's not rotating. That's burying young players.
All right, fine. Cool. Don't add a receiver. That's cool.
Like what team rotates receivers?
What corners are we adding? Don't add a receiver.
The reason why you don't add a weapon right now and to this point to Al, because that weapon based off that list does not help your team win right now.
None.
It don't.
You would rather have more money in your pocket to get a veteran pass rusher than to help out with your defense than you would for a veteran receiver who's going to rotate and stagnate the offense.
All right. You want me to give you another
name?
What
corners are we adding?
I'm just saying, yo, that's crazy.
What corners are we adding? Cool, y'all made it. I'm listening to y'all. I'm just gonna remember this conversation in December when niggas ain't got no catches. I'm gonna remember this shit. All right, cool. When we complaining about this pass offense, ain't taking shots. I'm gonna remember it.
The real issue is Al don't like the system. That's the real issue.
But hey, it's bigger than that. It's big. I agree with Al on that. The real issue is get the receivers the ball. Game plan for guys. That's not that. The issue is not who you bring in. If you game plan for Prochet, then Prochet will produce.
Yes, I get that. I agree with that.
Hey, then guess what? He's going to produce. The issue is, like you said, the system.
Duvernay is used to get fucking handoffs. All right, cool. What corners are you getting?
Answer your question. If Chris Harris is really available, then I'm interested in Chris Harris. You get Chris Harris at 33 years old, and I don't care. We got that's our MO, right? Go get a proven older cornerback, whether it's Corey Graham Trying to think. What's the other dude that y'all just mentioned earlier? I forgot his name. Brandon Carr, somebody like that. You get them and come in and help them produce. A veteran to go over there, and then until Jalen Armour Davis get ready, it's some other corners available. You got
Chris Moore's available.
Kevin, Chris Moore, Jason Verrett, Kyle Fuller, Bryce Callahan's available. Xavier Rhodes is available. These are all Janoris Jenkins, Richard. No, not Richard. Yeah, these are all guys that's available that I wouldn't mind having any of those guys.
We can bring Kyle Fuller back home personally.
Now that's a position where you could rotate corners.
Mm-hmm.
That's a position.
Especially two of them coming off an injury.
All right.
And then your third best corner is Brandon Stevens, a rookie who played mostly safety. And then you got then you got two slot guys. You got the one in the draft this year who had, to me, he kind of reminds me of Tavon and Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Darius was played safety at TCU, but he could play the slot pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
What's the boy from Northern Arizona? Khalil Dorsey, another slot guy.
Let me change my pick. I'll change my pick to Xavier Rhodes. You bring Xavier Rhodes to come play outside, and then you let Mark.
How is his foot?
I don't know. They work on that foot, but you bring him in, even if he can't play till week 3 or 4, that's still a veteran. You got enough money right now, especially if you cut Sam Cook, you cut what's the other dude? The tight end that John said cut earlier. What's his name? Oliver. You cut Oliver. That's your money to get these deals done.
It's all about scheme fit.
And if you, like you said,
I think you overlooking somebody though.
At corner,
like in my opinion, like I agree with the Chris Harris take, but I would rather have Bryce Callahan over all of them. Because to me, he is Chris Harris, but younger. He fits that Chris Harris. He was raised under Chris Harris. What I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a movie character?
Bryce Callahan?
Yeah.
Sound like it could be.
No, talking about Bo.
That was Tommy Boy.
Bo Callahan, draft day. Yes. Yes.
And if you really want to be old, you talk about what's the Chris Farley movie when he
Tommy Boy, right?
Yeah, Tommy Boy, yeah. Callahan.
Man, Callahan Auto. Go ahead.
No, it's Boykins, Watkins in Hollywood. We need a veteran wideout. Sure.
No,
sure.
I'm not.
What corners we had?
Yes. Yes, he bad. Yes.
All right, who y'all got in the second round of the playoffs? We had over the weekend, we had two really good games. We had the Boston and Milwaukee, and then Golden State and Memphis.
I got Golden State, and well, it's not fair for two of my top two favorite players, but I got Golden State and I got Milwaukee.
I agree. Milwaukee looks inevitable. Golden State, Steph had a bad shooting game, and they still won.
Both had a bad shooting game.
All of them did.
I mean, Greek and Curry and Klay Thompson, free throws missing.
Yep.
And Draymond got thrown out.
And Draymond got
on some BS. I said sweep when looking at the. I said sweep, so I'm sticking with the sweep in that series.
So fatty.
It's just because the team is too young. You can't.
Is it fair to say Memphis is at the Oklahoma City stage when KD and Westbrook was too young?
I don't know. No, it's not fair. Only because they were established stars.
Not when they first got there.
They didn't go to the finals when they first got there.
Ain't nobody picking them to go to the finals.
But
Who said
my
they
point
go to
is
the
they,
finals?
they were already established. Like,
I'm just saying they're a top young team, but they just too young right now.
all right, yeah, from that standpoint, sure. I thought the Milwaukee series is a bad matchup for Boston because the size difference.
Hmm.
The size difference, and Milwaukee can play they multiple. It's a bad look. Do y'all think that he got off? Dallas and Phoenix. Dallas got a
That's why he probably got off. He wasn't trying to hit no slander.
So I actually think Dallas
He got a shot.
got a shot. I'm gonna be watching because it's every time I watch, I don't get to see the Luka Doncic that people rave about. I don't ever get to see that.
That's because you got biased eyes.
No, I just don't ever get to see it. Like every time I watch him, he got like 10 turnovers, and he's just a bad watch for me. Him and Zion are just horrible watches for me. Last time I watched Zion, he blew out his goddamn tennis shoe.
Damn.
And it's been hurt ever since. Like I just got
In my
just bad
opinion,
watches for me.
in my opinion, there hasn't been a more exciting player in the playoffs than Luka so far.
And that's probably because I haven't watched any of their games.
Boy, must see TV, man.
Watch. As soon as I watch it, he's gonna have like 10 turnovers.
We gonna put a post up like it was our fault they lost by 30.
Right. It's just a horrible watch for me, yo.
Philly, was it Philly? I think Miami
Philly
gonna beat
and
them.
Heat.
Miami gonna beat
Yeah, I got
them.
Miami beating them, regardless.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so we can do this again next week.
All right.
More NBA talk. I don't know. We probably have some football talk mixed in. Football never ends, so we always have football talk. I know how it goes.
Traded or picked up.
Right. Probably had a veteran receiver or something.
What fullback we add next week?
Eddie.
All right, fellas. That'll take us out.
Be blessed, be productive, be more. We love you. We out.